All right, so what is the reaction on Capitol Hill to all of this? Joining me now with reaction is South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman. Thank you so much for joining us early this morning. I'll just begin with what in the world do you think happened?
Well, the good news, Heather, is, as you said, no deal is better than a bad deal. This president is willing to walk away. And, you know, as I was listening to the breaking news in the room, you know, back during the last year of the Obama administration, every 24 days they were firing off a nuclear missile. It's been 280, 290 days minimum that we haven't heard that. So this president, if it's not a good deal for the United States, he's willing to walk away. And I think it's a testament to you know, his courage and his willingness to it's got to be the right deal, and that's what he's focusing on. And you know, for North Korea to give up one facility and to do away with all the sanctions, no. And I'm glad he said he's doing what he's doing.
And we were just discussing with Ed how the detractors here at home said, you know, their biggest fear was that he would jump at any type of deal just to have the ability to say, look, we accomplished something, but he looks like he went the opposite direction.
Well, Heather, if you look at his record, you look at his history, he didn't build his business that way. And he's perfectly willing to walk away. And he's the one that came to Vietnam and in hopes of making something. And I'll say this too, no doesn't mean no forever. I think what you'll see is continued negotiations. And we have the leverage. The intel that the United States has on North Korea, which, as they mentioned, shocked Kim Jong Un, that's a good thing. So we operate from a position of strength. We hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst.
What about a time frame? I mean, when do you think this next summit could happen? President Trump was non-committal on that, but then you heard Secretary Pompeo saying that, you know, he does think that they could reach some progress, more progress in the next couple of weeks.
Well, you know, in any negotiations, you don't set a timetable. You operate from a position that if the right deal comes along, that we'll be back at the table. And now, if it doesn't come along, then no, we'll take as long as it needs. We're just not going to sign something that is not in the best interest of this country. And isn't this refreshing to have a president that's doing this, that understands that we got to protect the country, and he understands leverage, and we're dealing with a communist dictator. This isn't a choir boy that he's dealing with. Mm-hmm. So I think he did the right thing. Which
is interesting, because if you look at the body language that was happening yesterday, a lot of folks seeing, you know, a lot of smiles, these handshakes. It did look like, you know, hey, we can accomplish something here, but people tend to forget exactly what you just said. I mean, we are dealing with a communist nation here.
Yeah, and Heather, everything starts with the conversation, good or bad. It starts with the conversation. And regardless of whether, you know, people are smiling and appearing one way, at the end of the day, it's what do you sign and what agreement do you enter? And it's got to be the right one for America, and that's what this president's going to focus on, and that's been his history the whole time.
And not only America, also this is coming at the same time that we're doing these negotiations in terms of trade with China. He was asked by several journalists there from China if he had spoken with Moon. He said he had not yet, but he did expect to make that phone call once he gets on the plane to head back here to the U.S. He also has not spoken to Abe in Japan, nor has he spoken to South Korea. How will this impact them?
Well, time will tell with that, but it's all, as they say, in one mix. You've got to have all the ingredients right. And it started with Kim Jong Un. If he had not wanted to do a deal, then it affects all the other countries and what they put on the table. But I think now the table is set. If it comes back in a month, if it takes a year, as Ronald Reagan did, this president will do the same thing. And what's the hurry?
Yeah.
Again, it's to protect our country, and he's negotiating in good faith for America.